Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. A ride.
Vitamin Water Zero Sugar has great taste, zero BS, and obviously zero sugar. For those with zero room in their calendar, zero patience for slow walkers, those who get 0 hours of sleep on a Saturday night, have zero filter, zero given, and zero interest in grabbing a plain, boring water. Grab a delicious Vitamin Water Zero Sugar today.
The Rev and the Rabbi on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Good morning. I'm Rabbi Joe Potasnik.
And I'm Reverend A.R. Bernard.
Reverend, over the years, I've been privileged to know generations of rabbis. When I first became involved with the New York Board of Rabbis, I met a wonderful rabbi, Rabbi Gary Creditor. Years later, at the Board of Rabbis, I met his son, Rabbi Menachem Creditor, who happens to be the rabbi of UJA Federation. So he serves a diverse community. I've heard him teach many members, those who have no background in Judaism, those who are very proficient in Judaism, and he's able to relate to all different people. And then I read a post of his where he spoke of his brother-in-law, Arsen Ostrovsky, who was one of the victims of an attack in Australia. Luckily, he survived that attack, but suffered some serious injuries. So, Rabbi Menachem Creditor, thanks for being with the Rev and the Rabbi.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, indeed. Welcome.
So, we read the story. We know parts of it, but obviously you're more informed. So, talk about the general and go to the specific.
Sure. I think a lot of us have some of the information. There's an annual gathering in Sydney on Bondi Beach for the Jewish community. They come together every Hanukkah, the first night of Hanukkah, and about 1,000, maybe more. It's a Jewish family-oriented event. My brother-in-law and my sister and their 2 young girls who had lived in Tel Aviv until 2.5 weeks ago wanted to go be part of this joyous moment with the community. And there were 2 terrorists who showed up, a father and a son, to terrorize the Jews who gathered there. They murdered 15 at least. There are a few people of the many that were injured that are still in the hospital. Please God, they should heal fully. And were it not for the actions of a man named Ahmad al-Ahmad, who was a fruit vendor nearby, a 42-year-old father who had no connection to the event, who stopped one of them from continuing to shoot, there would have been even more tragedy.
Mm-hmm. Is this the individual who took the gun away?
Yeah.
That they've showed videos of? Wow.
Yes, it's a dramatic demonstration of what it is to stand up for anybody, not only people who pray like you, look like you, come from the same place you do. You show up for human beings because no one should ever be hurt.
How is your brother-in-law doing? How is the recovery?
Thank you for asking. A bullet grazed the back of his head. He had just stepped away from his family, from my family, and went to get a hot dog, actually. And he heard the sound that he thought was balloons popping. Once he realized it was, in fact, bullets in the air, he got up, and he's a very tall person. And I don't know how, but for the grace of God, the bullet only grazed the back of his skull. And he was bloodied. He was in the hospital and was about to be cleared after getting many stitches in the back of his head. when they realized through a scan that some of the shrapnel from the bullet had actually embedded itself in his skull, so they needed to take that out. Now, somehow, this quickly, he's at home recuperating. Thank God.
You know, Rev, I'm listening to the story, and I think of you and I going to the Nova Festival exhibit.
Right.
And we hear an annual gathering of Jews, some non-Jews, but a plethora of Jews in a particular place, which we thought was safe. And now when we hear the story in Australia, we realize that any public gathering where you have Jews poses a serious, dangerous security threat.
Yeah.
And that's why we're seeing, all kinds of police cars in front of synagogues and Hanukkah lightings. You can't take these things lightly. But there is this determination by some to kill the Jews. And I don't care whether the Jews are religious, non-religious, whether they love Israel, are not so committed to Israel. They see Jews as the enemies. Menachem, correct me if I'm wrong in that.
I wish you were wrong. In fact, Arsene, who, again, while they were living in Tel Aviv, he was a very prominent champion of human rights and of the State of Israel. He described what he saw in front of him, and I won't get graphic for your listeners, but described it and had spent many, many visits at the Nova grounds the days after and then the years after, described it as very similar, actually, in his eyes.
Mm-hmm. Now, Bondi Beach, is that an annual event that draws Jewish people around Hanukkah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, communities around the world, and Rabbi Potasnik is right. There's no question that security and the situation has changed with an upsurge of global anti-Semitism, violent anti-Semitism. But this gathering is an annual celebration for the Australian Jewish community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's about 100,000 Jews. No. It's between 1,000 and 2,000, depending on the year. And they come together for the first night to light a candle, the first night of Hanukkah, with a lot of vendors and food and music. It's a celebratory event, or it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right, but I was speaking of the Jewish population in Melbourne or Sydney is around 100,000 Jews that are there. So it's not a very large and significant Jewish population in Australia. So about 1,000 of them gather on Bondi Beach to engage in this annual festival.
Yeah.
Wow.
There were reports, Rabbi Kreda, that the Israeli security team, that had warned Australian officials that said, we're hearing things, we're reading things that you should be aware of so that you can protect those going to Bondi Beach. And they ignored the information given to them. Did you hear the same thing?
Yes, I don't have, from any place of authority, but I have heard similar things, and there's no question that the Jewish community in Sydney and Melbourne and elsewhere have been very frustrated with national leadership when it comes to Jewish safety.
Yeah, it's amazing because it's not localized. It's not in the United States. It's global. It could be anywhere on the planet where you have a gathering of Jews that something like this can happen.
Yeah. We talk about this often. It's clearly a global issue. It's a national issue. And those who want to point to Israel and say, no, that's a political feeling you have. No, the answer must be understood very clearly. Jews are not only a family because we love each other and we're committed to each other through the millennia of our existence, but the world also treats us as one. And what happens wherever Jews gather happens everywhere Jews gather.
Right. That's
but the other thing is, for example, here in New York, you have a police commissioner, you have a mayoral administration that is clearly committed to the protection of Jews. They've spoken about it. They've taken measures to protect them. Australia was lax. I mean, there were all kinds of hate mongering going on, and the government looked the other way.
Yes.
So how do you how do you look in the mirror after something like this happens and say, well, we did what we could? You didn't.
No, they didn't. And the statement that came out afterwards demonstrated the mishandling of the event and of our community by the leadership, because the statement that came out immediately from the Prime Minister's office, if I heard it correctly, didn't mention the word anti-Semitism and didn't use the word Jewish. It was about Australians. And while that's beautiful and important that all citizens should be treated equally, this was an attack on Jews and has to be named as such.
Right. It has to be specified as anti-Semitism in totality. That's I guess maybe they're thinking that this something like that can't happen there. Is there any past history of such an incident in Australia against the Jewish people?
Well, there have been terrible protests, which of course are different than physical violence or physical terrorism. There has been tremendous defacing of property, and there's a sense of instability when it comes to Jewish safety, including other events. But it's also important to note that in the context of Australia, gun violence is far lower than it is in the United States because of very strict rules. That won't stop everyone, but it changes the number of incidents. So that doesn't contextualize anything, but it means that what feels dangerous in Australia will come with different descriptors than we would just use here in the United States.
We're going to take a break here. When we come back, I want to ask you this. You looked at the videos and you saw that the shots were being fired and the police who were there did nothing. They just stood by. And thank God for the vendor that got involved and risked his life. But there is something there that Jewish blood, the Jewish life, is not valued.
Wow, that's a tough statement.
Yeah. All right.
Stay tuned. We got to come back for that one. Stay tuned for more of the Rev and the Rabbi right here on Red Apple Radio Networks.
The Rev and the Rabbi on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by... Oops! I've got a box of Cheez-It crackers staring at me, and I just wanted that irresistible cheesy crunch. Sorry, that was a total snacksident. What was I supposed to be talking about? So salty, so crunchy, so cheesy. Whoops! Lost my train of thought. I've heard of brain freeze, but brain cheese? I'll just have one more Cheez-It cracker, and then I'll get back to it.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. So Netflix is basically Santa this year. 2 NFL games on Christmas Day, streaming live. At 1 p.m. Eastern, it's Cowboys, Commanders. Then at 4:30, you've got Lions, Vikings. Midwest football, playoff stakes, and probably some snow. Watching holiday football is a tradition the whole family can enjoy. Open some gifts, grab some food, settle in, and watch NFL Live on Netflix this Christmas Day.
Say hello to the all-new Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do so much more for you. Need tickets to see your favorite artist? Craving your comfort restaurant? Just sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. It learns your style, anticipates what's next, and makes it happen across Echo, Fire TV, and more. Learn more at Amazon.com/new Alexa.
The Rev and the Rabbi. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back. I'm Rabbi Joe Potasnik.
And I'm Reverend A.R. Bernard.
Elias,
so, Rabbi?
Yeah, I just want to mention Elias Raff is our producer. So proficient in what he does. It makes all of this possible. So, Menachem, I mentioned before the reputation of the Australian government. I saw statements, and I heard statements of the chief rabbi I've heard statements of the former prime minister, and they weren't just critical, they lambasted him and the government for being so lax about the threats to the Jews.
Yeah. Look, I don't speak as a local, but I do know that the reason my brother-in-law and sister moved to Sydney just 2.5 weeks ago, Arsene is going to be the new director of the Sydney office of AJAC, which is a major Jewish organization there, and one of their big concerns has been adequate support for and protection of the Jewish community there. It is clear that there were only 2 police officers present for a 1,000-person public event on a beach, and that tells you that they were not taking this seriously. And if there was any inclination, any sign, any chatter about an impending attack, they were not prepared. And if there wasn't, they still weren't prepared. You can't imagine a gathering of that size anywhere in the United States without a significant role of law enforcement and private security, too.
Yeah, the expectation is there. I'd like to turn your attention to something that I read about this, that Sydney specifically was a destination for Holocaust survivors. Back in 1938 to 61, the Jewish population there tripled in size. And to hear that one of the a Holocaust survivor was actually killed in this particular event. How do you survive a Holocaust and then end up on a beach like this, dying? Speak to that, please.
And by the way, to make the picture even more bleak and dramatic and heroic, he died sheltering his wife, covering his wife of 50 years. And so
they showed pictures of that, yeah. And a 10-year-old child also was killed.
Yes, a 10-year-old girl named Matilda, a Chabad rabbi, and another rabbi. And there's no explaining any of this, not theologically, certainly not socially. And anyone who would contextualize this is just part of the problem. There's no way to understand this as anything other than pure evil. And when I asked my brother-in-law, while he was recuperating, what he would have me say in his name, he said, "Evil shall not triumph, we will prevail."
It's interesting.
It is as simple and profound as that, I think.
It's interesting to say that, because this entire week we've had Hanukkah lighting, not just within the home, but out in the street. Here in New York, I saw at Carl Schurz Park, near the Plaza Hotel, another number of areas, community came together to light the Hanukkah menorah. And because of the anti-Semitism that is so pervasive, it's metastasized, you've had a number of Christian or non-Jewish leaders who have stood with us at some of these lightings and saying, we're not going to let you stand alone. It's dangerous, but we're with you. And I think that has to be part of the story as well, that we feel we still have allies who are there for us and with us. But what happened in Australia has happened. And by the way, if you follow the news, it was a day or two later that in New York City on a train, some young people from Chabad were attacked.
Yes.
And they left they got off the station early because they feared for their lives.
Yeah, it's trying to still work with that one. I'm just curious because relationship between Israel and Australia did become increasingly strained over the past year because of what's happening in Gaza. And the prime minister, sharply criticized Israel's conduct concerning Gaza. Do you think that had anything to do with the laxness of protection, realizing that, here you have a people that are globally in jeopardy, and there's not the kind of protection for these people? What are your thoughts on it?
If a government only protects those who agree with government policy, it is not doing its job.
Look, when you have police protesters, people who protest the police, you have police protecting them. Right? You look at demonstrations against the police, and you get the police guarding them as they're marching in and spewing all of their hatred against police. So,
correct.
It's security of the individual that has to be paramount.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Menachem, you're a great teacher, student? What do we do? Where do we go from here? I mean, I always tell people, when look at Hanukkah, look at the story of Hanukkah. When they said to the Jews, you can have your religion, but you're not going to fulfill it the way you want. It's the way we want. We're going to destroy your menorah. You can have your temple. You can destroy it. We're going to destroy the menorah and purify the oil. So it's like saying, well, you can be Jewish, but we don't want you to be Zionist. We're going to truncate part of it. What do we do? I think the answer is we're going to be stronger Jews. We're going to be prouder of who we are.
I'll say the same thing and get there in my own meandering way, given how intense this week has been. My brother-in-law is well known on social media as someone who is present and serves as witness, taking pictures of every dark part of the world. It's really something to notice what he's been able to do. When he was shot, somehow he was able to take a picture of himself. And that picture has spread all over the world. And he conducted an interview in the immediate moment as well with a bloodied and bandaged head. I take him as my role model. There were 6 beautiful young hostages kidnapped by Hamas who just months before they were executed by Hamas took a propaganda video of them lighting Hanukkah candles. And throughout Jewish history, we have defied the darkness. It's the central message of Hanukkah. And just as you said, stronger, louder, and prouder. Any person, any group that tells the Jewish community you can only be part of who you are and live, we say back, no, we're going to be all of who we are and live. Right. Our ancestors gave us that legacy, and we're going to give it to our descendants.
And religious liberty is one of the main themes in the face of danger, one of the main themes of Hanukkah. Yes, gentlemen?
Yeah, it is. We've come to the end of the segment. I just want to say, Menachem Kreder, Rabbi Menachem Kreder, I'm a great admirer of the work you do, as I'm a great admirer of your family. And Rev, Menachem's wife is studying to be a rabbi.
Two rabbis in the family.
Yeah. The tradition continues.
Hopefully the same school of thought, yes?
Oh, she's my teacher, so I'm not sure what other than hers.
What a good husband. A good husband with the appropriate answer.
He understands.
Yeah. So, but Menachem, one of the things I've learned from you as I've watched you and heard you is I don't care what kind of Jew you are, just be proud of the Jew that you are.
Amen.
That is the lesson we teach about Hanukkah, post-Hanukkah. And by the way, we expect the same of other people. If you're a Christian, be proud of that. No matter what your tradition, be proud of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Menachem, great meeting you, and thank you for being on the program.
You too. Thanks for having me.
All right. And stay tuned for more of the Rev and the Rabbi right here on Red Apple Radio Network. We'll be right back.
The Rev and the Rabbi on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
This episode is brought to you by McAfee. I got a message that our flight was canceled. But they can put us on another flight, and we just need to confirm our credit card info.
Wait, I got a security alert from McAfee. It flagged that message as a scam.
McAfee's scam detector automatically spots and alerts you to suspicious texts, emails, and deepfake videos. Learn more at McAfee.com/online protection.
This is Charlie. He's my part rescue dog, part whirlwind. Half of his breakfast always ends up on the floor. And he leaves fur everywhere. That's why I grabbed the Bissell Power Clean Fur Finder. It's cordless, powerful, and actually finds fur you don't even see. If you've got a pet like Charlie, you've got fur everywhere. The Power Clean Fur Finder gets that. Discover how Power Clean Fur Finder makes pet cleanups effortless at Bissell.com.
The Rev and the Rabbi. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back. I'm Rabbi Joe Potasnik.
And I'm Reverend A.R. Bernard.
Rev, let me say this to you, because I know we're coming to the end of the Hanukkah period. I envy you as a Christian in this regard. Because let me clarify. What do you mean
you got my attention? You got my attention. Because I've been working on this for 10 years. Go ahead.
You guys, you Christians, have one spelling for Christmas. Spelled one way. Come Hanukkah? Oh, my God. I think I've seen at least 5 variations of the spelling of Hanukkah. C-H, H, 1K, 2 Ks, 1 N, 2 Ns. I mean, I've never seen a holiday that has all of these different, spellings for
Are
the same.
Are they all legitimate or just
Well, when
mistakes?
you're dealing with phonetics, I think, how do you spell Hanukkah? You don't spell it with an H. It's got to be CH, but you don't have that guttural sound in English. You got to have some phlegm in your throat in order to pronounce it properly. Yeah, but it's amazing to me. You can't walk down the street and see a greeting of Hanukkah spelled the same way. So
well, for us, Christmas is Christmas. That's it.
And by the way, and then we have a discussion as to how we light the candles. Right to left, left to right. It's just
really. There's no one way to do it.
Well, there is, but people are not familiar with. You're supposed to light the new candle first, so it goes. You put them in right to left. You light them left to right. But by the time we get to that, people say, "What was that? Left to right, right to left? What did he say?" So it's see, you're lucky. You have the tree, the lights. It's easy. For us, that menorah, complicated.
But that tree is new. It's only a couple hundred years old. It's not. It's not the beginning of Christmas. It goes back 2,000 years. The birth of Christ that we're celebrating. So,
anyway.
So great guest. I didn't get a chance to bring this up during the interview with Menachem, but we as African Americans, I'm Afro-Latino, okay, to be more specific, we have something called the talk, and that's where I had to talk to my sons and say, look, let's go over how you interact with law enforcement because you are a person of color. Now, that's a very real talk. It's an understanding of, American history and where we are today in society, the initial relationship that law enforcement had with men of color, primarily through slavery. And so, you sit down and you tell them how to conduct themselves and et cetera. But it's also bringing to their attention a reality that they are the other in a more dominant society. Do you have the talk with your children?
It's interesting because I think it's a matter of looking at history. There was a time when we, the Jews, did not feel comfortable in America, the rise of anti-Semitism. We were the outsider, and unfortunately that anti-Semitism hasn't gone away. But I think there was a period, look, when I was growing up, and I grew up in Massachusetts, and I think it's true of New York, we felt we didn't have police cars in front of houses of worship. Mm-hmm. You didn't see security inside a synagogue. So there was a period of time where the other became more of rest of us. But now we're the other in the eyes of some. Mm-hmm. And
and why I asked that is because there was an article on a young girl who their family left early before the shooting took place. Mm-hmm. And they did a story on the family. And the little girl asked a question while the journalist was there. Mommy, why do they hate us?
Yeah.
And, for a child to try to make sense of all of this, it's difficult. And yet you have to have that kind of a conversation with your children.
Look,
as Jews.
I remember years ago meeting the chief rabbi of Israel, Rabbi Lau. As we were talking, we met in Rome, by the way, and at the Vatican. Let me make it specific. And we were both children of survivors. He was a survivor. I'm a child of survivors. And he said, what did we do? What did we do to in any way be the victims of such hatred? And I said to him, I don't have an answer for evil. I don't have an answer. It's nothing we did. It's not us. We don't have to look at us and say, what did we do? Why do they have this evil within them? Look, I was telling a reporter recently, I'm walking by a hospital, and I look at the buildings and I see the names of Jews inscribed on different buildings, different departments. I'm walking by a university. Again, the names of Jews on the buildings, on different departments. Wherever we've been, and this is true of Jewish history, we've enriched, we contributed to the society. I remember once speaking with the Secretary General of the UN, and he said, we in Portugal was stupid. We expelled the Jews, and we paid a price for it. Because when they left, Portugal declined. So I don't think it's anything we did, but I tell you the questions the kids are asking today. Can I demonstrate my Jewishness outwardly? Can I wear a yarmulke when I walk down the street? Can I have a Jewish star, or should I hide them? That's the talk the Jews are having now.
Wow.
How do we behave? And you don't want to see anybody endanger their lives, but it's a serious discussion. And that's why when you hear what goes on, whether it was in Australia, you hear it everywhere, on a train in New York City. If you're a visible Jew, your life, you're in trouble, or potentially in trouble.
And that's just it. Unfortunately, today, you don't have to do anything. It's who you are. You know what I mean? The identity that you take on, if you practice that identity as a Jew, you don't have to do or say anything.
Yeah.
The hatred stirs up, and people attack the identity. Look, it's crazy.
I was telling you the other day, and I was telling other people, when African Americans see a noose on a door, wherever it's placed, you see not only hatred, you see a symbol of destruction, of death, right?
Violence. That's right. Yep.
When we hear someone say globalize the intifada, that's a noose for us. That's the hatred. That's the violence. That's the destruction. You see these demonstrations around the world, people yelling global. What does globalize the intifada? That means kill the Jews. So that's why, we're very emphatic, with the mayor-elect. You got to denounce it.
I was just going to raise.
Yeah, you can't just discourage or just say I won't use it. You got to denounce it because it is a threat to our safety, to our lives.
Now, and he hasn't done that to my knowledge yet, has he? Has he?
Well, you said not yet.
Not yet. So are you, as one of the Jewish leaders in the city of New York and New York Board of Rabbis, are you collectively coming together with leaders to
absolutely
suggest this could help heal and maybe bridge a gap?
Look, I have to say, we can't solve the problem alone. We need help, and the help has to come from our non-Jewish ally. You've been an ally for years. Archbishop Dolan has been an ally for years, and we certainly have much to say about him as he begins the next chapter of his life. But we can only fight hatred. As, by the way, African Americans could not stand alone. They needed others, and Jews were the first to stand with them.
Jews were the first to them. Exactly. Throughout history, the Jewish people were there. Jewish leaders were there.
Yeah. So we come together, but together has to be expanded to mean those who are not of our faith, those who are not of our tradition. And standing together, hopefully, will move that, will lower the temperature, will move the needle, something. But we just can't do it as we, sit in our own enclaves and just complain or cry.
You and I have spoken about attempts to put a wedge between the Jewish community and the African American community here in the U.S. because of how effectively change was exacted when there was that type of partnership. That's how a lot of the civil rights movement achieved some incredible things.
We sit together as religious leaders, call it a commission of religious leaders. Why do we sit together? Because we realize that there are challenges out there that confront us that no group can solve by itself. It can only be done collectively, cooperatively. And we need each other. It's a relationship that is, so necessary because I want to protect you, you want to protect me, and together we protect each other. That has to expand.
Yeah, understanding that we have a shared life experience that binds us together. I've taken heat for my support of the Jewish community here in New York. And that doesn't, change anything. In fact, it just deepens my conviction and my resolve.
Sad commentary that you have to take heat for something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's Rev. We come to the end of this program, and it's just been.
Wait,
I'm sorry.
End of the program?
No,
we got more.
No, because I looked at the producer, and he started waving his finger, meaning that we've come to the close. But he meant the close of this segment. We got a lot more to talk about when we come back. So,
not so fast.
I knew it went by quickly. I didn't think it was that quickly. Okay, we'll be back.
So stay tuned. We'll be back with more of the Rev and the Rabbi.
The Rev and the Rabbi on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Meet the computer you can talk to. With Copilot on Windows, working, creating, and collaborating is as easy as talking. Got writer's block? Share your screen with Copilot Vision to help spark inspiration, and use Copilot Voice to have a conversation and brainstorm ideas. Or maybe you need some tech help. With Copilot Vision, Copilot sees what you see. Let Copilot talk you through step-by-step guidance so you can master new apps, games, and skills faster. Try now at windows.com/Copilot.
Rated E for everyone. Includes in-game purchases. Includes random items. EA Sports FC 26 is here. Play your way this holiday season with an overhauled gameplay experience powered by community feedback. Enjoy festive upgrades in Ultimate Team with Winter Wildcards. Take on holiday-themed challenges and manage your career, like navigating the busy Christmas period. And team up with friends and clubs with new tournaments and live events. The club is yours. Give the gift of football with EA Sports FC 26.
Looking for the perfect gift? Blink has you covered. With a Blink security camera, you're giving the gift of peace of mind.
A camera? Isn't that hard for them to set up?
It's simple to install anywhere, and they'll always know what's happening at home.
Okay, that's actually perfect.
Perfect indeed. Give the gift of smart security with Blink, so they can check in on home from anywhere this holiday season. Shop now at Amazon.com/Blink.
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels. On everything from lamps to ceiling fans. Even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes. Now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox. Clean feels good.
The Rev and the Rabbi. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back. I'm Rabbi Joe Potasnik.
And I'm Reverend A.R. Bernard.
Thankfully, we have another segment. Okay. More to talk about.
It was him. I'm not ready to get rid of you. So we got to talk about our good friend, Cardinal Dolan. Timothy Cardinal Dolan. He had his 75th birthday in February of this year. Of course, he's Archbishop of New York that covers the Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island. And it is the second largest diocese in the country. He was also came as president of the College of Bishops in the U.S. And so the rules say he's got to retire at age 75 unless the Pope says differently. And we now hear that he's officially retiring.
Yeah, it came as not a bit of a surprise. It came as a real surprise because we thought he would stay on. Listen, we certainly wanted him to stay on as long as possible because he's been such a friend of not only of the two of us, but of New York. I mean, he made interfaith relations a priority in his ministry. When he came to York, I remember receiving his call and his saying that I've shared a wonderful relationship with the Jews throughout the years, and I want to build on that. And he did. He's been a great friend. He's beloved by the Jewish community. Matter of fact, when I saw him recently, I said, just know the Board of Rabbis does not accept your resignation.
Well, I mean, he's touched the black community. He's touched the Christian community, Protestant community. You're right. He is beloved, and you and I have known him for 15 years, worked together with him for 15 years, the Commission of Religious Leaders, and other issues that have come up that we've stepped in, released statements together on. And, of course, the hope is that we'll be able to develop the same kind of relationship with the incoming Archbishop.
Yeah, I had a chance to meet him for just a short time to talk to him, and I said, you have some legacy to follow here. I mean, he has established, Cardinal Dolan has established himself as such a bridge builder, but a real bridge builder where the bridges are sturdy, that we look forward to working with you. Obviously, he was very warm, very gracious. He said, look, when I was in Illinois, I was very, very strong about making interfaith relations very, very important in the work I do, and I want to, strengthen that here in New York. So we look forward to that relationship. But you know what? It's about life, I guess. At some point, you got to begin again, right? You start all over again, and we will. But Cardinal Dolan is going to remain in New York, so the friendship continues.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have a little more free time, so we can have those meetings, gatherings, dinners that we always said we're going to do.
Yeah, I think it was interesting because the Washington Post, they put out an article and it says Pope replaces conservative Cardinal Dolan of New York with Ronald Hicks. This particular cardinal who's coming in is very pro-immigrant. So it's interesting that the comment was made that, Cardinal Dolan was quite conservative, and, we know in working with him, his values and positions on things. But it seems like they're saying that this incoming cardinal is going to be a little different, leaning in a bit of a different direction. Is that what your take is on all of this?
I've come to learn that the media doesn't really know what's going on inside the room sometimes. They push these stories, and they're unfortunate because they could be totally untrue or totally exaggerated. I don't know why. All I know is we're going to have a new Archbishop in New York, but we are certainly going to be thankful that we had Cardinal Dolan all these years. So whatever the reason is, that's the politics of the Vatican. And, they make the decision based on what they think is meaningful for them. I don't know. So I don't want to, it's like people give opinions without knowing all the facts. They don't sit in the courtroom, but they know all the information. I always learn that get the facts before you come to a conclusion. Some people have the conclusion before they get the facts. It's like first you draw the bullseye, or first you shoot, rather. First you shoot, then you draw the bullseye around it. Yeah. I don't know.
But you know what it is? It's the unknown. You have someone like Cardinal Dolan, larger than life, and it made such an impact. And the question is, what's the next archbishop going to be like? What's the relations going to be like? And we have to find out. We have to sit down, have conversations, see where his head is, what his thinking is. You said you spoke with him, and he offered the idea that he is in favor of interfaith dialogue, which is important to us here. So, yeah, we're going to have to build relationship and see where it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, look, one of the things we as people of faith know is when we go into any conversation with someone who's new or someone who has a different view, we don't compromise who we are. We say, look, this is your view, this is our view. So I don't know what the real story is. All I know is who we are. We'll find out who he is. But who we are is going to be on the table. In all the years you and I have been together, and in all the conversations we've had with people who are different from the two of us, we've never changed in terms of our core values. Right. You believe in compromise, but not compromise at the expense of your core values.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Those are key words. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. But we're rooted in those core values, and we're comfortable in interacting with someone who believes differently, thinks differently. It's okay. And that's the only way these kind of relationships can work. And the reality is that there are 2.8 million Catholics in New York City. That's a large population, and that's quite an immense job and responsibility that he will bring to the Catholic community here.
Yeah, and I think Cardinal Dolan will tell you, give the new person a chance. Don't prejudge him. People say, well, he's not going to be Dolan. Of course, everybody has his own style. We know that. And as you say, he was larger than life, Cardinal Dolan. But the reality is there's a new cardinal coming in, and there's a new cardinal you want to work with. And he's an ally. He's not an enemy. So, let's work together and build this relationship to, a stronger level, if that's possible. We'll do the best we can to make it even better. But at least we're working with friends.
I wasn't sure. Did you find out that he speaks Spanish?
Yes, he spoke in Spanish today. Not to me,
okay.
But because all I know is "Que pasa, amigo." Then I'm finished. I remember somebody said, "If all you know is "Que pasa, amigo," why do you have to take 2 years of Spanish? You could just learn that phrase and then move on. You don't have to go through 2 years." He spoke in Spanish, but he spoke in English, and he spoke about his determination to get to know New York. He's excited by coming here. Look, he was in a small community in Joliet.
Illinois, yeah.
And now he's in New York, and there's a major change, but he says, I look forward to it.
That's a good thing. You know why? Because he realizes the need for relationship building, the need to identify and understand the clergy in New York City and the networks that exist. So I'm looking forward to having those conversations and building that kind of relationship.
Yeah. And also, you're approaching Christmas, and we're going to be concluding Hanukkah. There's a famous song that kind of goes, "Don't let the light go out." And I think that's a message for both of us, for all of us, that we've worked very hard throughout history to keep that light burning strongly. I remember reading a commentary one day where they said that sometimes the people inside the temple, the Holy Temple, would take the light from the eternal light and then bring it out to the street lights and bring the light from inside to outside. And I think that's what we try to do. We're lamplighters, taking from our traditions within, the faith, the sanctuary, and bringing them to the outside. Don't let the light go out. Whether it's Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever your tradition is.
I like that. I think it's important for us to be points of light. I know that this phrase has been used before, but we should be points of light. illumination. God's life, love, and light is what we should represent, and not this kind of violence that we see in the name of God. I've got a big problem with that.
Yeah. As we should have a problem with that. That's not what our tradition teaches us. Yeah. Thank you, Rev.
Well, it's been great. Another wonderful Rev and the Rabbi show. And we're preparing for a new season, 2026. The show will continue into next year, and we're excited about spending another year. Right? But this is not our last show for the year, but, we're close. We got what? One more. One more.
Based on the Jewish calendar, you get a lot more time. You use the secular calendar, but look at the Jewish calendar. You get a lot more months ahead.
Whichever gives me more time, exactly. That's the one I'm going to use.
Go Jewish on this one. Thank you.
All right. God bless everyone. Till next time, the Rev and the Rabbi.
Thanks for listening to the Rev and the Rabbi. You can hear the Rev and the Rabbi Sunday mornings at 7. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. One of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. Mm-hmm. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.